going to do a video on the disassembly of the Steyr 1886 Kropatschek rifle. It's a pretty unusual gun, it's a complex gun, so this video might be in more than one part. There might be several parts to this. The reason I'm doing a video on this is it's kind of a complicated disassembly. There's some special tools that have to be made, and I made a video on how to make the one little tool to pull the magazine tube out. And I will put that in the video response to this video. Alright, so let's start. Our first step is to clear the weapon, make sure it's unloaded like any other gun. Now, this gun is basically a modified design of the German model 1871-84. The way you take the bolt out, there's a screw and a washer. So to remove the bolt, you turn out this screw, remove the screw and washer, and then the bolt will come out of the gun. So you depress the trigger, I believe. And we'll do a separate video on the bolt assembly, disassembly. Okay, once the bolt's been removed, our next step is we go up to the front end of the rifle. Here. And if you notice, there's a little piece here and a cleaning rod. Unscrew and remove the cleaning rod. Okay, once we accomplish that, we take a small screwdriver blade and go to this little tab here. You press on this tab here, and if you notice the hole in this piece goes into here, and that's what the cleaning rod goes through this part and locks the whole front end mechanism out. So we push this out and remove this part. Now this is the cap for the magazine tube and spring. And if you notice down in here, there's a lug on the barrel and there's a notch on this cap. Take a screwdriver blade and rotate this cap to where it lines up with the notch on the flange, and then the whole assembly comes out. Now, I made the video for that tool. This particular rifle, the tube more or less stays into the end of this cap. There's another gun, and I'll show you how we use the tube. That ain't the problem, and that's where we need the tool. So this one's pretty much stuck together because it hasn't. So we'll pull out the tube. There's a tube magazine, the spring, be very careful, and the magazine follower. That comes out here. Spring, tube, this one, the cap sticks on the end of the tube fairly tight, and that helps pull it in and out. If your tube is stuck in there, where you would use the tool is, I have it in here as I showed. It's just a nut with some rubber washers. You tighten it up, and how that would work is, if the tube has here gets resistance, you can pull this out without damaging it with the tool in place. I guess it all depends on the gun. Okay, then after that, front band with the bayonet lug just slips off. That. Then you loosen the screws on these. The screws tighten these bands down. I already loosened them up, so we can just speed up this process. And you take off the other barrel bands. Now we have the barrel bands off. Now for the action, there's a screw here, which you remove. front trigger, the screw in the front trigger guard. And then there's another screw up top here in the tang. Now we should be able to get the action out of the stock. Always remember to remove that tube or pull it at least 3 or 4 inches up before you try this, because that magazine tube locks down into here, and if you don't pull it back trying to remove the action from the stock will damage the stock. I'll show you, just make it clear. This tube comes down through the stock here and engages about 1 inch into the action down here. So you must pull the tube at least back 2 or 3 inches or the gun won't come apart. Very important to remember that. Okay, now at this point, let's stop it.